Silksong is a problem. Because the devs are having too much darn fun making it. What does Zelda, a hungry bug, and actually having fun have in common? Well, buckle in neighbors, because here is a story behind Hollow Knight's Silksong, Team Cherry's new Metroidvania. The year is 2013, and three guys participate in a game jam with the theme of 10 seconds. This is Hungry Night. The goal of the game was playing as a really hungry bug that will die of starvation if he doesn't eat every 10 seconds. Phew, that's rough. You go around on a small map killing other bugs for apples to keep you alive, or you can kill this guy for a nice speed boost. Gameplay is simple. You have a slash and a dashing mechanic. There are 3 bosses you can kill, and if you do so and return to the starting point, you beat the game. Very fun for a simple game jam. They even added in a new Game Plus option called Starvation Mode that the timer is now cut in half to 5 seconds compared to 10. The game is actually still available today on Newgrounds if you want to play. I'll link it below. This game jam would be the early blueprint for what would be known as Hollow Knight. Ari Gibson and William Pellin, 2 of the 3 people that participated in the 10-second theme game jam, originally connected over their love of games like Zelda 2, where, as they described, you couldn't feel the edge of the map. After their game jam, they had so much fun and wanted to expand on this idea that they launched their Kickstarter in 2014 for what would be known as Hollow Knight. Original goal was 30,000 Australian dollars before they increased it to 35,000. With those funds, they would be able to create a 2-hour Metroidvania. And it was a success. Not only did they reach their goal of $35,000, but blew past it to $57,000. And one of those stretch goals was to play as a second character. Congrats, Team Cherry. With the success of the Kickstarter, Ari and William were able to work on Hollow Knight for 2 years. And they kept costs low. With help from significant others and previous savings, they were able to expand their 2-hour Metroidvania into the 30-plus hour sprawling game that would be Hollow Knight. One of the devs even joked how when he was gifted $20 from his father from time to time, he would exclaim, "I guess I am getting coffee today." And just as a side note here, they did actually get extra funding from Indie Fund to help the final game get all the little details they wanted to add. But with that, the duo worked relentlessly on Hollow Knight and released it in 2017 to a resounding success. And to be honest, I had never played the game up until getting ready for this video. So I picked it up last week to see what all the hype is about. And darn it, why did no one tell me I could get all the feels of Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night again? I have been trying to chase that dragon ever since I finished those games when I was a kid. Nothing else has quite scratched that itch until now, even Bloodstained. I was immediately enveloped in the beautiful music and the characters that had so much personality with barely even speaking. Just a simple cry or hello said so much. If you are watching this and haven't played Hollow Knight, if you are a fan of games like Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night, trust me, play it, you will be happy, and you're welcome. With the success of Hollow Knight behind them, the team got to work on their DLC. Remember that stretch goal for Hollow Knight, a second playable character? Well, when the team began working on Hornet's DLC, they realized she did not fit the level design for that of the Small Knight. She would need a new world, a much, much bigger one. The devs talk about that a little here.
And it was very early on intended as a DLC. So specifically, Hornet and what became Hollow Knight Silksong started as a stretch goal on the Kickstarter for the game Hollow Knight.
But yeah, as we sort of kept going and kicking around ideas, the idea of having Hornet go through an adventure in a whole new kingdom actually seemed like a really fun and interesting idea to us.
Way more fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was it's probably the biggest motivation was for us to be able to make a new game and a new world and stuff.
So with that, the DLC evolved into a full, fleshed out game. Team Cherry believed the backers would be more happy to see Hornet's story brought to life and not just an add-on. And side note here, Team Cherry seems pretty awesome. For any backers of $10 and above of the original game, they announced that those backers would receive Silksong 100% for free. What lads? Actually doing right by the customer? Especially for a Kickstarter. This was a team that not only delivered, but over-delivered to their original backers. It's good to see that nowadays, compared to, other projects. With that, Team Cherry got to work. Now that they had decided to pivot from Hornet having a DLC to her own fully fleshed out game, they could do things the right way. As they described building the game, it kind of was birthed out of Hornet. Bosses, level designs, everything. Hornet was at the core. With Hornet being more agile and aggressive in her playstyle, Team Cherry could expand on how many game features functioned. Boss mechanics could be designed out of what Hornet was capable of. Hornet is also taller than the previous game's primary protagonist, the Knight, which has led to the team making changes in how levels and areas of the game are designed. The previous world wasn't big enough for Hornet, so inspiring. Now, 2 years after Hollow Knight, when the team revealed Silksong, they had this to say about the game size.
And breaking it off into its own game seemed like a really cool, clean, nice idea. And so here we are, Hornet in her own game.
Yes, and it's a huge game, and it's still growing.
And that was in 2019. Through scouring interviews with Team Cherry, one thing came abundantly clear. They were having too much fun. Darn it, game dev isn't supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be grueling, filled with bloat and soul-crushing. Well, Team Cherry thought otherwise. And before we continue, if I haven't bored you enough, can you do me a quick solid and...
We need to let him finish the job, otherwise... No.
Now, normally game teams get bigger and bigger. AAA is getting notorious for this. Usually in an effort to pass off tasks one doesn't want to do, they just keep hiring and hiring until you get these massive teams of hundreds of devs. And then they pass off that cost to you, $70, and they are trying to push that now to $80. And with these big teams come bloat and inefficiencies. It takes forever to get anything approved. The guy behind Expedition 33 mentioned this before. At big companies, there are a lot of approval steps. A game like Expedition 33 would have taken 25 years to make. Now, let's compare that to Team Cherry's process. We're very fortunate that we have a development method that is so enjoyable. Everything comes together quickly. You can see results fast. Ideas turn into something that exists in the game almost immediately before your eyes. Oh, and by the way, this is a great interview by Bloomberg. I highly recommend it, and I'll link it in the description below. The team continues on to say, "You're always working on a new idea, a new item, new area, new boss." I remember at some point I just had to stop sketching. If I don't stop drawing, this is going to take 15 years to finish. How awesome is that? They were actually enjoying themselves. It's also that problem where, because we're having fun doing it, it's not like it's taking longer, this is awful, we really need to get past this phase. It's, this is a very enjoyable space to be in. Let's perpetuate this with some new ideas. And you have to remember, Team Cherry is basically 3 people. Ari Gibson, who is responsible for the beautiful animation. William Pellin is behind game design, and Jack Vine as their talented coder. Now, mind you, they do have a few more key players and contractors like Christopher Larkin, who is behind the beautiful soundtrack, but Team Cherry is just 3 people. So because of all the fun they were having, darn them, they had to rein it in. As they described it here, it's for the sake of just completing the game that we're stopping. We could have kept going. Guys, Silksong was birthed out of love. These guys love exploration games, building and creating new things. And it's nice to see that. Most game stories coming out today talk about layoffs and game crunch. Well, Team Cherry is keeping their team small, and they are honestly passing their savings off to you, the customer. What game can be in development heaven for 7 years and be priced less than a dinner out nowadays? Well, depending on when you are seeing this, Silksong is about to come out or just came out. I am assuming it's going to be a smashing success. I mean, it is the most wishlist game on Steam. So what's next in store for Team Cherry? More games! We got to be careful, guys. We have to make sure it's not too successful or the next one's going to take a decade. And that's why Silksong is a problem. These indie titles are showing AAA games that game development doesn't need to be hell. It can be fun. I mean, this game is coming out in a complete contrast to how most games come out nowadays. I am starting to think that if you actually have fun making your game, it might just be the recipe for success. Hell, Peak, the new climbing game by Landfall and AgroCrab, was built out of that philosophy.
A lot harder to make fun games if you aren't having any fun doing it.
And by the way, if you want to learn how Peak was actually created in a Game Jam 2, and all in the course of roughly 4 weeks, click the video at the end of this video. It's a great story. Guys, these big game companies are in for a rude awakening with these indie titles. They are showing you can create better games on a smaller budget and have more fun doing it. And for AAA games, Silksong is definitely a problem. Welcome to the 30% Club, the people that actually make it to the end of the video. I want to thank you so much for watching. I just want to wish you a great week. I'll see you next week, and don't forget to